Hi guys, Stephen Flynn, the leader of the SNP in the House of Commons, appeared on the Laura Kuenssberg show where he gave Nigel Farage a bit of a roasting. Now, he mentioned two things here, Brexit and how to deal with the Reform UK leader, and both involve telling the truth. Unfortunately for the Labour Party and the Conservatives, they seem to be afraid at least of talking about the first one. Have a listen.
On the point of Brexit, look, I think everyone across the UK right now, and Matt's kind of referenced it, feels that Britain is broken, that the public finances are in a mess and the politicians are lost as to how you get out of that particular mess. And yet the guy who orchestrated it, who I've just sat and watched over there, doesn't have to face the consequences of the economic damage that Brexit has done to the UK. It has made us smaller and it has made us poorer. And
it's actually worse than that. Because not just Farage doesn't have to face the music, face the consequences, he can also take advantage of those consequences. And he's doing that. He's telling people, look around. Has the country got better with the Conservatives in power? No. Has the country got better with Labour in power? No. So he can point to economic decline and say, well, the fault is not the European Union. The fault is the Labour Party or the Conservatives. And when the Conservatives and Labour refuse to talk about how Brexit has damaged the economy, and I'm talking about the Prime Minister, I'm talking about senior people within the party, I'm not talking about backbenchers, I'm talking about senior people in the party, in the government, are not talking about the damage of Brexit, then Farage can say, well, look, we left, now it's your responsibility, and he can take advantage of economic decline. It's insane.
The Labour Party want to defeat Nigel Farage, they need to accept the premise that Brexit has been a disaster and explain to people across the UK that the only way, the best way to grow the economy and to get our public finances in a fit state as a result is to realign our relationship with the European Union in a more positive way.
But in terms of the impact of reform, I mean, it's affecting the Tories, it's affecting the Labour Party, it's also been affecting the SNP. You know, the recent by-election in Scotland, reform ended up with 26% of the share of the vote in the Hamilton by-election.
Well, I don't think there is a correlation between the drop-off and the SNP vote, because the SNP vote at that election replicated what the national polling would suggest. In fact, I would suggest it's Conservatives and the Labour Party who are feeling the brunt of Nigel Farage.
So you don't think reform has an impact then on you in
Scotland?
Scotland?
Of course they're making an impact in Scotland, but the best way to take Nigel Farage on is to deal in the facts with him, to say to him that if you're going to come after Scotland's renewable energy sector, you're putting at risk tens of thousands of jobs. You're going to leave cities like mine looking like Detroit in 30 years' time, rather than an expansive, future-looking city which exports its skills and expertise across the globe. He wants to sabotage our renewable future in order to play up to his own ideology, and whilst doing so, doesn't have to face any of the consequences for the decisions he's made in relation to collapsing the UK's economy with Brexit.
Well said. And what Farage is attempting to do, of course, is push the fossil fuel industry. Now, in Scotland, more jobs are in oil and gas currently than there are in renewables. But over the last 10 years, the number of jobs in the fossil fuel industry has declined dramatically, while at the same time, the number of jobs in renewable energy has increased dramatically. Now, Farage has talked about, or at least his party have talked about, reopening coal mines. Like, coal has been in decline since the 1980s. It was replaced basically by cheaper imports, and then the use of coal completely collapsed over the last 20 odd years, 30 years. So Farage is talking about bringing back, or at least his party are talking about bringing back coal, when more and more jobs are being created in renewable energy, and that's the future. So Reform are talking about going backwards instead of going forwards. And I think this is the message that the SNP or the Greens or other parties in Scotland need to be pushing. Farage represents the past, not the future. Farage wants to bring back the claims to bring back the fossil fuel industry, but it's in decline. The future is somewhere else. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think about all of this. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated, and I'll see you in the next video.